right, welcome back. Today we are bringing all of the work that we've been doing together, the stuff that we've been exploring in Desmos, and looking at strategies we can use to find the surface area of some different prisms. So hopefully you develop some strategies through our explorations. But one of the most basic ways that we can find the surface area, because it's just the space along the outside like you're wrapping a present, is we can find the area of each face. And then add them together. So I'm going to use some color just to help show what I'm looking at each time, and just kind of help organize things a little bit. All right, so with a rectangular prism, there's always 6 sides. There is the front, which as we did through our Desmos activity, we know is the same as the back. And then we have the top, which is going to be the same as the bottom. And then depending on how the prism is situated, and what you can see, we have our left side and our right side, which are identical. And so essentially what we can do is we can find the area. There's different ways we can do it. We can find the area of all 3, add them together and double it, or we can just find the area of each one and add them together. I'm going to start with the front and the back. With our front and our back, the dimension along the bottom is 7, and the dimension that goes up, right, because we're looking at the very front of the box, makes this a 7 times 1, or a 7 by 1 rectangle. So 7 times 1 is 7, so the front and the back both have an area of 7 inches squared. On the top, we're still going to use 7, but now because it's going this way for our rectangle, kind of along the diagonal, that's going to be 4. So the area for the top is 7 times 4, or 28 square inches, which means the bottom is the same. And then lastly, on the left side, we have a 1 by 4, or a 4 inches squared on each side. Now if we're going to take these and add them all together, we get a total surface area of 78 inches squared. And if it helps you, right, we're just basically putting those all together. So it becomes 7 plus 7 plus 28 plus 28 plus 4 plus 4. And that's where we get that 78 inches squared. Now we can also do this with a triangular prism. So if you use kind of that same process that we just did, why don't you pause the video and see if you can figure out the area of each of the faces, and then add them all together and see if you end up with the correct total. All right, so looking here at our triangular prism, we have the front and the back, and that would be kind of like our base because that's what makes it the triangular prism. This one's a little bit trickier because not all the faces are necessarily going to be the same. So we now have the bottom, which goes here, and then we're going to have a left side prism or face, and then also a right side face. I'm going to start with that front triangle. So this one that we started with in the very front. This one is a 4-inch base, but remember with a triangle we need to do base times height divided by 2. So our front triangle is actually going to be 4, and then the height is this 5, and then we're going to take half of that. So 4 times 5 is 20, divided by 2 is 10. So the front and the back triangles are both 10. The bottom is this blue that we're using. If we look along this edge in the front, so this one right here, that's 4. This long edge is 10 for the bottom face. So this one becomes 4 times 10, or 40. Next, we're going to take the left side, and on the left side, on this particular triangle, it's also going to be a 4 by 10, because we actually end up with an equilateral triangle, which is not always true. But in this case it is. So we have a 4 by 10, which is 40, and then our right side, because it's equilateral, is also going to be 4 by 10, or 40. Taking all those and adding them up, so we have 10 plus 10, which is 20, plus 40 is 60, plus 40 is 100, plus another 40, makes for a grand total of 150 centimeters squared. Now, like I said, you may have figured out some shortcuts and some strategies that work better than actually finding the area of each individual face. I encourage you to share those out with your classmates and keep using those and make sure that there's something that works all the time. But let me know if you have any questions.